Hi there, and welcome to Aunt Val Has an Opinion About Everything. I want to talk to you today about a man named Bain Ennis. And for many years, I called him the bane of my existence because he was. First, I should start out telling you that I met Doug and Paige when they helped organize figure skating nationals in Dallas. So 2 years later, I saw them again in St. Louis. They were helping organize nationals there. And Bain Ennis is Paige's husband. I don't know if he's even a member of U.S. figure skating or if he just had to volunteer because his wife was there putting on the event, which often happens to husbands. Anyway, I had several shifts announcing at practice, and I was excited. And I was new, so I had to learn. And I didn't have very many shifts, so I also took some shifts helping to load the buses after competitions. So one night I'm standing in the hallway at the arena waiting for the competition to be over so people will come out and we can load the buses and send them back to their hotels. And one of the girl volunteers that I had kind of become friends with came over and started talking to me. And she told me that she was afraid to go back to her hotel, that one of the male volunteers was hitting on her a lot, propositioning her, and it kind of scared her. And I told her she should tell the two ladies that were head of volunteers, because really that guy should have his badge pulled. He should not be a volunteer if he's scaring the other volunteers. With inappropriate behavior, by the way. She didn't want to do it. And, a lot of women are like that. So, she went on her way doing her volunteer thing. And a little while later, one of the husbands of the head volunteers came by. And so I thought, well, I'll tell him because he can tell his wife and they can kind of decide what to do. And the only other person there was a security guard for the arena. So I told him, that I talked to this girl and that really the guy who was bothering her should have his badge pulled. Because that's totally inappropriate at any organizational function. And then the night went on. The husband went on his way doing whatever he did, and I waited till the competition was over. And people come in big crowds out of the arena. And I went outside and started helping them fill up the buses to send them back to their hotels. The next thing I know, Bain Ennis, who was the head of loading the buses, came over and started screaming at me, "Who the hell do you think you are?" And I just looked at him in shock because I had no idea what he was talking about. And he said, "You have no right to pull anybody's badge." And I didn't say anything at first because I hadn't pulled anybody's badge, but it had to be related to the comment I made about somebody should not be volunteering if they're harassing the women. So I said, well, let me explain. Let me tell you what happened because I didn't pull anybody's badge. And he said, no, I know exactly what happened and I don't need to hear anything from you. Now, any man who does not want to hear both sides and especially does not want to listen to a woman should not be involved in any event. He should never be allowed to volunteer or be head of volunteers if he can't be open to problems that come up. And then he told me that he should have my badge pulled because I had no right to do anything. So I just turned and walked away. Didn't finish my shift. Didn't finish any other shifts that I might have had loading buses. And I stayed out of everybody's way because I was so sure if somebody in charge saw me that they would take my badge. And I spent a lot of money to do that. Plus, I really wanted to learn to announce at a big event. So it kind of ruined the event for me. And when I got home, I started thinking about it. And I really feel like the husband of that head volunteer was the guy who was propositioning the volunteers. Because that's what they do. They throw someone else under the bus, make up a story, divert any attention from themselves, and get everybody looking at someone else. And since I only told 2 people, and the arena guard, I was with him the rest of the night, so he didn't talk to Bain, it had to be that husband. And I bet he was the one who was inappropriate with the ladies. So I'm happy to say, though, that I've never seen Bain again, and I'm glad about that. And for the last 20 years, I have been a practice announcer at Nationals, Skate America, and the World Figure Skating Championships. And I have enjoyed every minute of it. And I'm sure U.S. figure skating would never condone a man treating women that way. But it was before Safe Sport. We didn't know who to talk to. We didn't know what to do. So now we do, and I'm sure glad for that. I'm Aunt Val, and that's my opinion.